Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And Jacob Weil.
It's time, yet again, to explore the vast catalog and find out what's a must or a bust on Disney Plus. And grab your jet skis, kids, because tonight we're talking about Loki, Season 2, Episode 5, the penultimate episode for Season 2, science/fiction. What do y'all think?
Jacob?
All right, Dragon. So far, I thought this was an interesting episode. I mean, I honestly can't say. I don't think I can say it's as good as last week's, to be honest. I mean, last week's is just like the intensity and everything. I mean, I did kind of like the different aspects of like highlighting the characters' potential lives on the different parts of the timeline. But other than like possibly setting that stuff up and setting up the finale, it's like, and maybe in the end, outside of the ending, it was just all right. I mean, it was a pleasant episode. I can't say it was better than last week's, but it was still good. That's it.
So yeah, I was I don't know, I'm a little split on this episode. Not in like a negative way. Like I didn't dislike this episode at all, but I'm a little puzzled with it in that I love our payoff to this episode, and I had a good time with it. But I don't know. I mean, just right now with all the Disney Plus Marvel shows, we just kind of we're trying to break that pattern and everything. And Loki season with the Loki, we're in uncharted territory with the whole season 2 thing. The fact we haven't had a season like a direct continuation of a narrative. For any of the other shows until I guess what if season 2, but again that's more of an anthology thing anyway, with sometimes a connecting kind of Infinity Ultron narrative, but we'll see how that goes with season 2. But it's that we there's a lot of wait and see here, but now lo and behold we're on episode 5, and I kind of mentioned this last episode, Tiki, is that it kind of occurred to me like, man, Loki season 2, we did not cover nearly the amount of ground you'd imagine we cover. We basically, it's been the one plot point, like we got to fix that loom the whole season, and 5 and 6 are like the big and 5 and 6 are the big episodes. We're like, okay, well, what do we do now that we kind of exploded that? And this episode is like, and we didn't really kind of change all of reality. Really, we're just kind of we had kind of this episode very much felt like a reset and a reboot of things. And I think some people at most were expecting like, oh god, are we going to do like a secret reboot of the entire MC? Which clearly, if we're going to do that, I don't think we're going to do that in like the second season of Loki. If we're going to do that. But I don't know. It did. I think maybe we went a little too big with how we ended episode 4, and I think that may have led things that we can only possibly scale back. But I think we scaled back in a nice, quiet way. It just feels like we're still missing some variables. I don't think we've quite filled the holes, like the minor holes of this season, like in terms of logic and stuff, with all the timey-wimey stuff we've been doing, as you'd expect in a show. It includes an organization such as the TVA. But we're I don't know. We got an episode left, and very much our big payoff is like, and we're rewinding back to episode 4. So let's.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, I'm having a good time with it. I'm just saying, like, but man, we really did not cover much ground this season. But it's like basically we got one really good episode stretched into six parts. That's what it feels like.
So I'm actually a little bit more positive on this episode than you guys are.
I'm not coming down on it.
No, I know you're not. But I think I'm a little higher on it. Okay. What I really like about this episode, when you look at it like from the structure from Loki season 1 compared to Loki season 2, Loki season 1, the penultimate episode, was like just this balls to the walls fantasy epic with all these different Lokis and stuff, and it was like craziness. And with that being said, I actually really, really appreciate the dichotomy that this penultimate episode is pretty much the polar opposite of that. Like, I don't know, to me, I think that's some really interesting kind of like symmetry there with the storytelling. Where now, Dragon, I will agree with you that it did feel very underwhelming to essentially have the end of the episode be like, and we're back at the end of episode 4. That was underwhelming.
I love the edit. That, as mundane as that is, Tiki, and as much of a step backwards as it might seem, I do love like the immediacy of that cut, though. Of just like, oh,
it's a good cut. It is a good cut. Yeah,
I gotta say, it's a very the season visually and director wise, because some of our directors have been announced for other Marvel shows. The Loki directors have been doing a really good job visually, right?
Oh yeah, and honestly, I think like. Here's the thing with season 2, and I am a little bit conflicted on it too. I think that season 1 probably had more memorable individual episodes, but I do kind of like that season 2 is very much like more self-contained. I don't know. I'm kind of, like I said, I'm looking at it more so from the, from the perspective of how did they change things up from season 1 to season 2. And so, yeah, I mean, obviously with this episode, I don't know. I think we get a lot. I mean, we get Mobius on a jet ski.
That's the thing. We have we have great character growth in this.
Right,
here's the thing I wonder if you have this. I keep bumping up against this with this season, where on one hand, we have, it is self-contained, and we do have some really good character stuff, especially in this episode. And good performances. We're hitting our marks. We're keeping it small, which is what the MCU really needed. And we need to keep things small and just kind of build back up to a big event, which this season's all about. We're building up to the big event. However, the problem that I keep bumping up against is while we're doing all that, which is all going great, flip side, we have introduced a huge element that is casting a wide shadow over the season. That our huge big bad for this phase, presumably, is he's casting a shadow where we've announced he's coming, but it feels like for one reason or another, real life notwithstanding, it feels like he's taking a long time to show up, and when he does show up, we as the kids are calling it right now, we spaghettied him.
right.
So that's you see what I mean? Like we have like a huge event, but we have the small condensed mundanity, and we have like this huge big building event that we can't really do anything with, and it feels like we're kind of deadlocked.
You know what I think the real connective tissue between all of the season has been that I think really makes those disparate elements work, though?
What?
I really think Obi has been like the secret ingredient this season. I think he's
right.
Like kind of the connective tissue to everything, and he is just a very like invaluable like piece of the puzzle in season 2.
I'm still
and I also think he was I also think he was one of the more memorable parts of this episode too, with the whole like it took him like what, like 18 months to build the machine, and he had to divorce his wife, but god damn it, he did it.
Lost his job and his wife. No, he didn't divorce his wife, left him.
Right.
And we got Mobius on a jet ski.
Mobius on a jet ski. Yes.
I told you. I wonder if anyone could tell that we really liked that part of the episode.
Oh, God.
I wonder if anyone's gonna say, "Oh, why?" I wonder how they felt about the jet ski.
Now, I will say though, as cool as it was to see like the tie to the jet ski, I am still hoping that somehow, and I don't know how they do it. Given the state that we're in the last episode, somehow I really want Mobius to have an action scene on a jet ski, man.
Yeah, I mean, I know, but
honestly, if this is the payoff, I'm fine with that payoff. I think it makes sense. But man, I would really love like a triumphant jet ski moment. You know what I mean?
Then we have to explain where's the water coming from. That's the kind of.
I know. Maybe the jet ski is the thing that can actually like get them to the temporal, because there's been a lot of focus on like we need to get to the temporal loom faster.
Yeah, maybe, but then he's going to be on a big
is the key.
Then he'll be like in a big puffy suit on the jet ski though. I don't know. No one wants to see that. I don't want to see Mr. Stay Puft ride it. Do you want to see Mr. Stay Puft ride a jet ski though?
Yes, I do. Jacob, do you want to see Mr. Stay Puft ride a jet ski?
It's gonna look dumb on it though.
It would be. It would be.
looking awesome on that jet ski, riding in like a knight in shining.
Oh
Well,
my
I guess a
God.
sportswear material.
I mean, I'm
also just like with Mobius. I fucking love how mundane his life as a single father is.
It's so
like
perfect. Everything we
it's
do with
so
Mobius.
perfect. Yeah, yeah.
All right, we're jumping ahead though. We're jumping ahead.
It's like if you get your brother, I'll get you a puppy.
Oh my God.
And a snake.
We'll negotiate.
All right, we go. We'll build the Mobius.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here's one thing I'm talking about with the kind of the writing. As much as I am really enjoying the season, I think the season's extremely watchable and kind of fun in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
So plotting though, this episode kind of starts off with just like, okay, so Loki is time slipping again for no real reason.
Well, because of the white light that sent everyone else to their respective timelines.
Well, it's still Jacob. It's a little. That's what I'm saying, though. It's like, okay, we seemingly solved this problem way back in episode 1, and I guess we didn't solve it at all. Coming to episode 5.
It could be. It just could have because like the timeline has a different effect on. Like they had all it. It could be like the fact that Loki's timeline is officially gone.
I mean, sure, but that's what I'm saying, Jake. It's this thing where, I guess barring the next episode, we're never really going to know like any concrete thing about like why the heck Loki and Sylvie. I'm going to guess because they're I don't think it can just be because they're Asgardians. It's got to be something, like why they survived. Like both of them were unaffected. Well, never mind. She actually it's hard to say because Loki was probably on the precipice of also kind of unentangling or however, or spaghettiing or whatever you want to, or like, twisted blipping, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But so, I mean, he possibly was also vulnerable to that, but you're right. That little white flash that we had saved him. We don't know what the heck that was about, I guess is my point. We just kind of, he needs to exist for the show to have a title. So, that's why, I don't know. So that kind of bugged me because, it's like very directly, okay, he's doing the very memorable, really awesome kind of horrific time slipping thing, which is going to be a really big kind of feather in his cap. And I like everything we do with the time slipping. I just wish I'm hoping next episode will give us maybe an inkling as to why that is.
Sure.
I'm reserving judgment, but I'm just calling it out. Like, if they don't bring this home in the next episode, which we know these MCU series have had kind of a tricky time doing, I don't know. But they never had a second season, though.
Shit.
What? Yes?
Well, sorry, I'm on my I'm on my. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can. You hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm on my headphones, which are also connected to my phone, and I just got a phone call, so I'm sorry about that. We're good.
Okay, so I want to make sure we're not having technical. Okay.
And
it was technical difficulties. It was just a technical interruption. We're good.
And I was just muted.
Okay, there we go. Making it paranoid. See, now I'm alone as everyone else is disappearing around me in the TV, and I'm running around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
Yep. But yeah, so the idea that Loki, I really do like this idea that Loki is kind of, he's learning how to time slip intentionally, which seems to be kind of like keyed into emotions and stuff. But I love that he's become like a living temp pad. That's kind of interesting.
Sure.
Quantum Loki. We've literalized quantum Loki.
Oh God.
Okay, so let's see. So again, we go to our branch timelines here, which we have a line from Sylvie later that suggests that these aren't just branch timelines; they just kind of found themselves, and this is presumably where they originally come from before the TV had kidnapped them. Like plucked them from these specific branch timelines. So, presumably their points of origin here. So we have now here's an interesting detail I caught. I don't know if you guys caught on the rewatch. The one inkling that we have to why things are going the way they do, and I think the only explanation we have remotely to what happened with Loki, is right before he time slipped. We saw the little monitor on the TV as everything was kind of becoming undone. Fail-safe mode activated. I think that might be a big clue to, like, I'm theorizing when Miss Minutes got rebooted, that might have initiated that protocol if everyone's going to be like thrusted back to their original branches, and maybe something happened with Loki. Maybe Loki was like a contingency or something. I don't know, but it feels like that fail-safe mode, whatever it was, whatever triggered, Miss Minutes or no, that's why things happened the way they happened just now. That's why it was like a backup plan.
For sure.
Hence the fail-safe. That's my guess, which, I mean, I got him on the rewatch, I think does help massage out a few things in terms of like, why the heck did we do this versus all the multitude of multiversal things we could do.
Well, and again, I do like the dichotomy where it's like I feel like episode 5 of season 1 was very much like the multiverse of madness.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like frankly, that episode 5 was more of a multiverse of madness than the actual multiverse of madness. Frankly.
Very true. Very true.
But like I said, I do like it's almost kind of like a yin yang, right? Where it's like this is on paper a very like we are going way back to the basics, and we are and we are here to kind of like reset everything. So I don't know, and with the TVA stuff and with everything that this show's been building to, I do think that seeing all these characters that who would have guessed that Casey was a fucking bank robber or whatever the hell he was?
Well, he was
that.
Okay, so the thing with Casey is he's presumably kind of like the way Loki was DB Cooper. He was one of the 3 guys that escaped Alcatraz on the boat.
Yeah, right. Like that's nuts. You know what I mean? Like so basically what I'm saying is that even though the setting of this episode might be mundane, I still think we got a lot of really cool reveals here. I mean, obviously the Mobius jet ski thing.
Well, speaking of, so with the jet ski, go on, Jacob.
It's like Mobius is from my home state.
I know. I was wondering if you were going to bring that up. Yeah,
he's from Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh my God, Jacob, he needs to take his kids to Cedar Point.
It's like, unfortunately, I'm not anywhere near Cleveland. I'm like a couple hours from Cleveland.
Question.
You're more near Columbus, right?
Yes, I live in Columbus.
Oh, you okay? Got it.
And,
right.
Well, we know when the zombie apocalypse strike what your name's going to be.
What is it?
Yeah.
Right. I forgot. You were talking about zombie.
Petaluma, Dragon Petaluma is not a very good zombie apocalypse name.
Too bad. You're going to be stuck with it, I'm afraid.
What would that make you, Dragon?
Anyway, we're going to move on.
He's not going to reveal this.
Okay, so, Jacob, question.
Yes.
I heard this geographical thing once. I'm thinking I might have gotten it gummed up here, but tell me, is there like any bodies of water around like Cleveland, Ohio?
Cleveland is literally on Lake Erie.
Yeah. Okay. Ohio, there's a bunch of lakes of the Great Lakes in Ohio.
Okay, so I must be thinking of like.
Michigan borders more lakes than basically any other state, but basically the only lake we border is Lake Erie.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
All right, I'm definitely misremembering my factoid then. There you go.
And let me actually double check. Yeah, like we only really border Lake Erie. The rest of it is like that. Buffalo, like, yeah. Basically we all basically like New York is like another one, but Michigan's the one that borders like all the other lakes besides like Superior, like Ontario.
Okay, I think we got it, Jacob. There, all right. Okay.
And Tiki, like actually Sandusky is an hour away from Cleveland.
Yes, Jacob, trust me, I am painfully well aware of that fact because it's the main factor that keeps me from going to a Cedar Point trip. I hate how fucking far away Cedar Point is from any airports.
Okay, so fun observation about our original branch versions of our characters here. I like that if you look at them we kind of like hints of who they are, at least in one way or another, within like their TVA counterparts. Because obviously Mobius with the fascination he can't explain with the jet ski. Casey's clever this season. We saw that he was clever, and he was he was figuring things out a lot. So perhaps the cleverness of a rapscallion.
OB is basically Hiro Hamada.
I mean, more or less.
Which I approve of. I'm not saying that is a bad thing.
If Hiro became an author, then yes.
Right, exactly.
Let's see, you had so obviously OB with writing the book and knowing the sci-fi stuff. B-15 was very much she cared about people, and she was she had a softness to her. So I think the whole doctor thing kind of tracks.
And instead of like basically eradicating people, she helped heal them.
Yeah, exactly. So again, they were fun little. The fact that she had there was a softer side to her that really got brought out when she learned about the variancy. So yeah, that's the thing. We kind of had a lot of little hints of these guys, and I wonder how much of that was maybe thought of in advance, because presumably they planned 2 seasons from the get go on this puppy. But then again, it's a little hard to say. So, just a little kind of fun observation. So I guess we should not bury the lead any further. Let's talk about Don. Don the jet ski salesman.
Can I just say Dawn is just such a perfect name for him, man. It's such a perfect average middle class white guy name.
I gotta tell you, man, I found it. I mean, this season's been so strong with all the Loki and Mobius stuff.
Oh,
Because
totally.
because they became friends in that first season. So every time they're together, it's
Unlike what I was fearful of based on that cliffhanger, which clearly didn't come to pass, thank God.
But still, I gotta tell you, man, there's something really moving. Of Loki felt really alone. They lost all his friends, and we had that moment where he goes back to where he and Mobius first really met, and then so he sees him there as the jet ski salesman. He knows that's important to him. So it's like, and this is the thing they talked about this too. They talked about, don't you want to know what your life was? So Loki's getting to see what Mobius's life really was, and it's a wonderfully acted scene between these. All the scenes between Loki and Don are very good.
Sure.
I wonder what Don thinks of key lime pie.
Oh my
God. That is a
God.
very good question, Jacob.
I would assume he's a fan.
But that's a different life experience, though. We don't know. Maybe lime is that's like if you looked at that when you go to the TV. That pie.
Jacob, I'm assuming that key lime pie isn't that big in Ohio. I'm assuming it's not like a Florida or San Diego thing.
I mean, I can't say for sure. I mean, it's not. I don't really go out of my way looking for pie, but
I'm saying if you go to Florida, key lime pie is one of the oh man, you go to Florida, you gotta have a key lime pie. You know what I mean?
It's funny when I saw the pie room in.
And around here, every time I go to the store and actually see pies, it is more like pumpkin and apple, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
I mean, even then, it's not really a year-round thing either.
Yeah.
I can't remember which episode it was. If it was the initial time we did the pie, or if it was the one where Sylvie was in the pie room. We had all key lime pies in one of those shots. So I gotta wonder. It's maybe it's. I wonder. Jacob and I speculate they have all the pies there, all the pies through time. But I don't know if it's just for that one gag, or maybe the whole time it was all key lime. Maybe that's all he had. Maybe that's why he likes key lime.
It's we even use that as one of the thumbnails.
Because how can you not? It's pie.
Yeah,
but it's not on my cake though.
No, it's not. No, it's not on your cake. No. But anyway, so but yeah, seriously, a really nice kind of moment there, and we see that Don here lives and breathes the jet ski. He's quite the salesman. I love seeing him lose the sale to the donut, to a different pastry. He's lost it to a different pastry, not the pie, but the donuts.
And I still like the fact that someone was interested in ATV. It's well, you could say that the jet ski is the thinking man's ATV.
I love it. No, the dirt bike, thinking man's dirt bike. Loki came in saying TV, and I love they made this joke, by the way. Loki comes in, he's talking about the TV. He says, "No, you're thinking of ATV, and we got those upstairs, actually."
It's like you could say that the jet ski is like the thinking man's dirt bike. I mean, consider me sold. I don't even live near a body of water, but this guy's already sold me a jet ski.
Well, no, that's the thing, though. I love how Mobius was so, or Dawn. I'm sorry, Dawn. I love how he was he had every sales pitch for every situation. You'll live near a river, great commute opportunity. Hell, just take it out on a pond.
I don't even live near a body of water, but I want one based on what he does.
Well, the thing is, my town actually does have a river that runs through the middle of it, and it's yeah, I could see if I had a jet ski, that would be a good commuting opportunity. I could see it. I could genuinely see it.
Are they river legal?
I don't know, Jacob.
I mean,
that I don't know.
Not river legal.
What I mean is, would you be legally allowed to drive a jet ski through the river?
Jacob, I don't know.
All right, but sorry.
And honestly, my river is technically a slough. I don't know if y'all know what a slough is, but let's just say maybe not something you want to be driving a jet ski through.
I'm gonna guess slough is polluted river bank.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, something like that. Like there's nobody swimming in the Petaluma River. I'll put it that way.
If we learned anything from this episode, is that Mobius would love the motorboats.
Oh my god! Oh Jesus Christ! I bet Mobius genuinely was an enthusiast for the motorboat cruise, Dragon. I bet he genuinely was.
Okay, imagine this. I want you to picture this, okay? After they settle all this timey, unwindy business, after we fix all that, after we fix all that, it'll be like a thing of like, Loki and Mobius is having like kind of like a guy's day, kind of like a little like a little field trip of sorts, like a little day off sort of thing.
You always got to have a day with the boys.
Exactly. So
again, if ever an MCU show or MCU characters in general go to Disneyland, that is just going to be the ultimate like crossing the threshold moment.
So that's the thing. Usually you're gonna have like, so Mobius, what do you want to do today? It's just like,
well, I remember when I was a kid, Loki. Yeah, when I was a kid, Loki, they had these little motorboats, and you could take them out on the water and spin the little steering wheel.
No, it'd be like they're walking like we are into the World's Fair, Mobius. What mode do you want to show me? Oh no, Loki, we went to a very specific time right now. Okay, look down. I want you to see this. Okay.
Oh my god.
Look at them. What do you see? They look like boats, Mobius. Like no, Loki. They're little motorboats. I mean, doesn't that just want to make you go wow?
But Dragon, the most important question in this equation is that would the time period that Mobius sends Loki to be before or after the gummy bears were added to the motorboat cruise?
I'm going to say before.
That's fair.
Mobius, why did you send me to these little motorboats?
Because they're little motorboats, Loki.
Are they going to disappear?
Sadly, yes. But not
why
now.
would they? Yeah, right.
Not the motorboats.
Not the little motorboats.
Not the little motorboats. Mobius, no.
Oh dear God. I still remember when I first saw that Freakazoid joke. I genuinely could not believe what a deep cut Disneyland reference that was.
Yeah. No!
Like, that joke was made by someone who grew up going to Disneyland.
Well, at least they still have the sky buckets.
Oh my god.
No! Anyway, getting back on, point being, we have Don here. Don here is a salesman. He's, he has seemingly two boys. He's a single father with minimum two boys. Very mischievous. Yeah, so he's. I think the impression that I got is that Mobius was actually content at the TVA, but he did feel he was lacking something. And what Loki gets to later on with Sylvie is that Mobius needed a choice. He could choose whatever he wanted, which it sounds like what Mobius wanted was something in the middle. He wanted to work at the TVA, but maybe have a family. That's kind of what it sounds like. At the very least, have an option to have an option for jet skis. Maybe not have to ride the jet skis. I'm sure if he actually knew what his occupation was, I don't know. Do you think he genuinely loves the jet skis, or he's just really good at his job?
Oh, I think he genuinely loves them. I think he's got a passion for them.
I mean, he brought them. He owns like two of them in his house that he's trying
That's
to
what
sell
I'm saying.
off.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just has to meet a quota.
That's the thing. It feels like he bought those and he's trying to sell them off.
And he does have two of them at his house.
Yeah, so it feels like it's either a guy who really, really loves his job, or most likely a guy who really wants to meet his quota, but he believes in the product that much. I like to think he genuinely believes. Fun fact: I kind of noticed this when I saw the image earlier. I love the little hint the jet ski that Mobius is on when we first see him, which is a great reveal, by the way. We're seeing him on the jet ski, but he's actually in a store with the jet ski.
Yes, for sure.
I mean, obviously, when you first see him, you could obviously tell it's not a real backdrop.
Well, though true, but what I'm getting at is like the jet ski that he is on is in the color scheme of Loki. It's black. It's got the kind of the tealish blue and the light and the lime green. It's like all the colors of Loki.
It's key lime green.
True. Anyway, but yes, it's again like the scene of like Loki reaching out to him and kind of genuinely pleading to his friend there, and he's like, and Tom Hiddleston's acting has it's never disappointed, but it's gotten really good in Loki season 2.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess jumping around a little, just beyond old Donnie boy there. Ki Kwe Kwan here. He's the struggling author, which it was. I love that Ki Kwe Kwan here. He's so wonderful. And he makes you fall in love with him, even like in rebooted status here, just in one scene. It's like if we were not shown the other OB scene, just shown this as the introduction, you would think, oh my god, I feel so much sympathy for this poor guy trying to sell his science fiction books.
Yeah, he basically snuck his own books into the.
It was so sad and pathetic. Just the idea he brought his books in. Hopefully, they would scan the book and he's like, "Oh, we should label these books." So, in a sense, his books would be selling on those shelves when no one wants them. That's so sad to me. One could say, Tiki.
It's so sad.
It's so sad. Anyway, but yeah, so he we have a nice little thing in the writing here about the science and this fiction. There's two very different things. And basically, you have a science problem, you have a fiction problem. It was a fiction problem.
I actually really, really like that kind of like explanation and breakdown for like just the I almost kind of feel like it's a good thesis statement for the entirety of the show, honestly.
Yeah. I think it's what they were getting at. Plus, this guy is kind of somewhat of our meta contextual element with that, with the whole writing and characters and everything.
Of course, yeah.
So essentially, he lays out that we with the little pen demonstration, the pens in the cup, we need like a big temporal aura from that room to kind of undo all of this. So you need to get the band back together. So we had the getting the band back together montage.
Getting the band back together.
Yeah, so let's see, B-15, helping out kids, which is nice, and then we have we have again Casey and Alcatraz. Which we brought back the whole "got us like a fish" line, which I thought was like really charming. I want to mention my favorite line from Mobius this episode.
Okay.
I sell jet skis, man.
Oh my god!
As silly out of context as that sounds,
that is basically his whole character in a nutshell, though, right?
He's just an ordinary guy who sells jet skis to support his family.
I love that we take that line, which out of context sounds ridiculous, but Owen Wilson brings such a humanity to that line delivery in response to like this whole world that is beyond what you can possibly comprehend. I sell jet skis, man.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, it is kind of a big ask.
Well, yeah. As we review kind of Back to the Future style, it's like, well, this kid's gonna be fine. Like this moment's gonna be playing in a loop in time. Like they'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right, so Sylvie,
but he does bring some humanity to that too, with like saying like they won't know it, but I will.
Yeah.
I love that. I fucking love that line. That's a great concerned father line. That's great.
And we're really emphasizing this season, especially in this episode, the choice is huge. Making certain choices really. So the fact that he's choosing to leave his children
free will,
behind,
essentially.
Exactly, with the whole free will thing, was the whole crux of the entire series, and the whole reason we killed off He Who Remains. So it's a very important decision. It's the big thing between Loki and Sylvie. Which, speaking of which, Sylvie, she retained her memories. She
I thought that was an interesting twist, and it makes sense because she is technically Loki. So,
yeah. So they go to this go to a bar, and we have the Zaniac arcade game, by the way.
Zaniac.
Yeah. So we have a fun thing here where, she gets Loki to admit essentially what he wants this season, what he really wants, and he missed his friends, and he doesn't want to be alone fundamentally. Which is the key for how he can time slip and save the day.
Which is nice.
Yes, and then they have the debate about to save the TVA and Mobius essentially. He using Mobius as the example. He loved the TVA versus his his versus the mundane life that he has, as we kind of saw here. But the TVA only offered him half a choice, which wasn't either way you slice it. He's only being offered half a choice. He needs to know both sides of it to fully have the free will and everything that Loki's been in pursuit of and wants for his friend. And I like that he genuinely wants that for Mobius. He wants his friend to have the same thing that he possibly has now.
Like Loki's looking out for his buddy.
Yeah, which is nice. And again, vicariously, kind of Loki is like his own. He's projecting his own wants onto others as well. But it's
Although to be fair, it is like he is trying to give them a choice.
yeah. But and this really does feed my theory, at least in my purview. It feeds my theory that ultimately Loki is going to be calling the shots for whatever new TVA or TVA permutation that we're going to have going forward. Where like Loki's whole imperative will be, we're going to keep the branches because we want to offer people free will for how they want to live their lives versus how the TVA dictates that. We got to kind of rewrite the rule book.
Basically, he becomes the new He Who Remains.
I mean, yeah, a lot of people are saying OB might get the job, but essentially Loki will have a hand one way or another in like a restructuring of what the TVA is. So yeah, in a sense, he does want to be He Who Remains. Yes.
It's like, I mean, because remember, like I think it was the last episode, which I think we were talking about, where like Sylvie's like, so you're just gonna play God? We are gods.
Exactly. All right. So, anyways, after the scene, Loki's kind of like in realization, like, yeah, I mean, there's not really I can. Sylvie's not coming back. She's made some points there. He can't convince her. So, yeah, it's like essentially they've gotten what they wanted with the whole, but at least B-15 wanted. Everyone's going back to their timelines and they're having their thing, and they're not really concerned about. Basically, Sylvie's not concerned until she sees everything unraveling around her. Like, okay, forget my position I've had this whole season. Reality's it's a moment that does make Sylvie look kind of dumb the whole season. Let's be honest, it kind of does.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not gonna lie. Like with Sylvie, it's like I definitely like her in this season more than I liked her in season one.
Mhm.
Just frankly because they haven't been pushing the whole like romance with yourself thing nearly as hard as they were in season one.
Well, they only did that.
Well, yeah, I know, but it was still weird. But I will say that, yeah, you're right. I kind of feel like her role in the season is almost kind of like she just kind of flip-flops a lot, and she's still kind of like, I don't want to say she's a problem character because she's not. But I definitely think out of the main cast, she's the one that I feel like is kind of like the most expendable to the story.
I mean, because she had more of an arc in the first season.
Right. Like, I understand bringing her back this season, but I get the feeling that the writers kind of couldn't decide what side she wanted to be on. And so, I don't know. Her character has been like a little bit inconsistent this season, just a little bit.
I mean, it just seems like she's mostly on her own side.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
But it is kind of funny that it basically took literally reality disintegrating around her to be like, okay, maybe Loki had a point. Is it
my record guy? No.
Oh my god,
Dragon, what do you think of that? Like, is that basically what you were saying?
I mean, essentially, it does feel like she would not have come back until she saw reality unraveling around her in the immediacy of like, okay, I'm back, guys. Let's fix this. Which, I mean, when you look at it, it's like, everyone's been warning her something like this would happen. Like, hey, the TVA is going to go bye-bye, and essentially it did. She thought, okay, problem solved. No TVA. Everyone's back where they belong, and my job is on here. Back to McDonald's.
All Sylvie wants to do, god damn it, is work at McDonald's.
Which I love that. I love that as her imperative, though. Just I just want to listen to records in my off time, go to a bar, and work at McDonald's. That's all she wants.
Oh my god, dude!
If she's happy, why not?
Yeah, she wants to play.
Do you think McDonald's sponsored this season specifically because it'd be like a good promotions specifically for like, hey, join the McDonald's workforce.
It's the darndest thing, Tiki. I could have sworn I saw somewhere they were going to do like some sort of like sauce tie-in for Loki, but I could not find. I can't. I haven't seen any of that in my local McDonald's or anything.
The biggest promotion is that whole the meal featured in thing.
I know.
Yeah,
which
is dumb.
So there's that, but on the flip side,
but which to be fair is extending to other properties besides Loki. But
sure.
Yeah, I guess what I'm getting at is, I haven't seen any Happy Meal toys. They keep putting.
Oh, there's definitely not been Happy Meal toys. I know that much.
There should be Happy Meal toys for this.
Well, let me get. Yeah, all right. So that's the thing. So with all the Marvel stuff, they've been putting out ever since Endgame. They've been putting out these little connecting base Marvel figures, which are cute, and like you put them on there, you hit the back of the button, maybe the arms move or something, and you can connect the bases so you can have any lineup of Marvel characters from any series of films you want.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that.
And as the new movies,
line.
So they did it for Endgame. They did essentially they did a line of all the Disney Plus shows and a little bit of Black Widow and stuff, basically during the pandemic era, if you will, and then. They did stuff like Eternals, which really no one wanted, and then
oh man,
then you have stuff like Thor: Love and Thunder, and Guardians Volume 3. So they've been pretty much cranking them out accordingly. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. So you'd imagine they would have of all the times for them to do that.
I know, right?
They would do it for Loki, and they have.
Dragon, I told you that they did at least at my McDonald's they did the Happy Meal toys for the Marvels back when the Haunted Mansion was in theaters, which was just such a head scratcher to me. I was like, you've literally got another Disney movie in theaters. By the time the Marvels comes out, nobody's going to remember, like, oh, yeah, the Happy Meal. It was such a weird
chances are I haven't seen them, but the Marvels figures were probably the same thing I'm talking about, the whole connecting base.
Probably. I'm guessing they were. Yeah.
Which is probably like they kind of found a way, like, let's not put like extra, they're really cute and they look nice on a shelf, so I'm not complaining, but it feels very much like we don't want to rack our brains on Happy Meal toy design anymore. Like for a longest time they scaled it back to like plastic cups, so let's just.
I think we've talked about this before, Dragon, but like you remember the Burger King Star Wars Episode 3 line of toys, right?
What was the episode 3 line specifically?
Well, it was like it was something like 50 different like figures that were basically like little like stand up like almost kind of like pop figures except not as detailed.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be like basically like all the named Star Wars characters ever at that point in the canon.
Yeah, look, I don't want to gush about McDonald's Happy Meal toys right now because we can go on.
We can do a whole podcast on that, man.
Time.
I'm actually kind of surprised we have not done a podcast just on Happy Meal toys yet.
Yeah. Anywho, point being, seriously, McDonald's. You have like the marketing tie-in of the century, which people are going to watch, and I don't know what they're thinking. Either Disney's dropping the ball or McDonald's dropping the ball. Someone's dropping the ball there. I don't know who. So, point being, Sylvie's back with the team. They have just the moment they have their little. They're about to read their temporal aura and everything. The makeshift temp pad is gone, and Casey did not steal it. And we know he didn't steal it.
Loki was like on Casey's case about it.
And yeah,
Casey's case-um.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was a bad wordplay joke. I'm sorry.
Yes, it was. But he's like, we need that temp pad. Well, good for you. I still didn't take it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So so the temp pad, interesting, is kind of mysteriously gone. I don't know if the implications that it dissolved first, or maybe look, this is something we don't really need to know. I guess just a plot point for like the big thing that's about to happen next. It's kind of weird. This kind of randomly disappears, but it may be for a reason. Who knows? Either way, Loki, he in the moment where he loses everyone, the really heady kind of very Doctor Strange multiverse of madness looking effect, with the again, it's very much like It's interesting that we give Loki his own version of the blip, which because he missed out on all that. It's kind of it's kind of interesting to put him in that position.
He missed
Sure,
it, but
sure,
he
yeah.
missed it. He missed it by like a couple days.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's interesting that we kind of give him the feelings. What I wonder if
Well, technically this Loki missed it by like 10 years.
Yeah.
Sure.
My point being, this Loki, I wonder if there's some significance to the fact that all of our heroes in the MCU really went through that blip and they came out the other side of it, one way or another. And on the flip side, perhaps this is Loki's kind of baptism into anti-herodom, where it's, or at the very least, see him kind of going on the path of the other Loki who sacrificed himself for his brother. Like he's going through the endgame experience on his own terms.
Sure.
It's like he put in his time. He earned his 5. Given that he time travels so much, he's gotten his 5-year chip, but with interest.
It's like there's like a whole job interview process to be on like the post Endgame Avengers lineup.
No, I lost everyone too. Only they turned to dust and ash. Well, they kind of unraveled.
They turned into weird spaghetti. Oh my god. I love that.
I guess. All right, fine. Anyway, but yeah, it's this moment where he time slips and realizes he can do this, and he does in the big moment, and we basically pull a Galaxy Quest on him here. Where Galaxy Quest is a big moment in the movie where we kind of go back to this very pivotal moment in the film when we least expect it. It's like, oh god, Loki's gotten the ultimate do-over. It would seem he's right at the moment where Victor Timely is suited up and he's about to go out the doors, or he's about to go out the doors. It's like Loki. Oh God, I gotta stop that guy.
Also, I was not around for the Victor Timely episode, so I just want to say, in spite of all the obvious ickiness with Jonathan Majors, I really did enjoy Victor Timely as a character. Like, I enjoyed him a hell of a lot more than I enjoyed He Who Remains. And I really like a lot of the time travel stuff that they did with him throughout the 3 episodes he was in.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yep.
See, it was a shame to see Victor Timely just disintegrate into nothingness, though.
It was horrifying, though, man. It was like, you got to admit, it was a shocking moment.
It was a great matchstick moment, wasn't it?
Oh, it totally was. That's absolutely what it was, Dragon. That's a good way to put it.
Like, what the heck are we gonna do now?
I wonder if like he also got affected by that white light. Like, I know they got eviscerated, but I'm just wondering if he got sent somewhere as well.
So Tiki, I had this theory I laid out because I know you didn't watch any of our podcasts, but I want to let you know. Yeah, I still wonder if when he disintegrated from the time radiation and everything, I wonder if that was him turning into a Kang.
Ooh, that's a good theory. But isn't Victor Timely technically also a Kang?
Well, I'm saying that might be him turning into the Kang.
Like, basically, like, having his character development, essentially?
Yeah, essentially. That's it. We haven't seen, the first invading Kang yet, so if he might be, the first...
You're right,
version of that, versus, the...
Now,
Kang
if Victor Timely did become our first invading Kang, then, yeah, that would certainly be an interesting twist, for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing, because we've had essentially Kang Prime. That was the Ant-Man the Wasp, Kang. Or,
sure.
If I use Kang Prime, then people are going to point that whole... Well, He Who Remains is technically Kang Prime, but you know what I mean? The first, the bad guy Kang who's we're going to...
I think of He Who Remains as, and I know you guys aren't going to agree with this assessment, it's just how I read the performance. It's like Captain Jack Sparrow Kang.
Okay.
I know that's dumb. It's literally just based on how I think Majors performed it.
I still love the action figure for He Who Remains. One, that he got an action figure, but two, the fact that he comes with the apple.
You gotta have the apple.
Yep. Green apple.
I prefer Bray Burns or Gale apples.
Right.
I like my Granny Smiths.
Deke, if you're going to make an apple point, come back to the room, would you?
I don't think you can hear us right now.
That's my point. It's ridiculous.
All right, let's.
Okay. I am back in the room. I didn't know that you guys could notice that I was in and out of rooms.
He sounds like he's way over there.
Oh wait, hold on. You see, because I'm wearing my headphones. I thought my headphones had like a built-in mic. My bad. I wouldn't have even left if I would have known that. My bad.
The headphones are like, you could like, did they have like there's a little microphone sticking out of the headphones?
No, but okay.
Then how would that work?
Okay. I'm sorry.
Let's get it. Let's just move on, shall we?
All right.
Well, that's the thing. We have no. There is no episode that remains.
I just need a Loki who remains.
Exactly. So, Tiki, do you have anything we want to round things out with? Any speculation for the finale, or like, what do you think?
I mean, speculation. Like, I really don't have a ton. Do y'all think this is going to be like it for Loki? Do you think is it a 2 seasons and 1 and done? Is that what they said?
I mean, they're prepared. Essentially, they're prepared for the end of 2 seasons. They're hoping for a 3rd season, but it is not like greenlit in advance already or anything. Especially in the state of things right now, they're not banking on it. But
sure.
I think if they're smart, they planned on an ending with 2.
Like, I don't really have a ton of predictions because, frankly, I think this season has been very unpredictable so far. So I'm mostly just excited to see where it goes.
Jacob?
I don't really have any speculations either, other than the stuff that we've, more than what we've already discussed.
Yeah, I mean, go on. Sorry.
It's like maybe I mean, the show's obviously been full of surprises because remember, our initial prediction was the stuff that we saw in the beginning, but it ended up being at the finale when it actually ended up being in episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of like threw all of our predictions for a loop. So it's like
I mean, honestly, this season has been doing a really good job of basically like Ryan Johnsoning us from episode to episode, honestly.
Basically that threw a lot of us for a loop, and we didn't know what to expect. So I can say like they probably have some surprises in store that even we can't predict. So I'm interested to see how it turns out.
I think the big question that we have, which interestingly mirrors the first season, is given that we've built it up a lot this season, the fact that these seasons are very condensed down to fixing the loom, and then we basically, let's fix the loom and let's just fix reality. Will Kang show up? Like in this case, how much do we push that? Like, do we obviously Victor Timely is going to be back if we seemingly stop him from essentially getting eviscerated by time radiation. That's the thing. Is the result like we stop that?
I would like to think that we get at least like a hint of where we're going with the Kang stuff. But then again, obviously with the Jonathan Majors of it all, it's possible that they filmed something that is a more concrete, like this is where we're going with it, and they had to straight. You just don't know. You know what I mean?
I mean, the point that the only point I really want to make with the Kang stuff is that again, Loki is kind of in this really frustrating position where it's that we don't know how far they can go with the Kang stuff. It's going to be a long ways before we really get to do anything with that, and how much can we push a finale of Loki? Like, could we get to a thing where like a bazillion Kangs like invade the frame, like they walk through it like a big old temp pad portal or something, like they all walk through oh my god.
Unless that's like the final shot of the entire episode.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get like an action sequence or anything.
But not an action sequence. I just mean are we gonna be able to get away with like a big thing like that, or like a singular or like Timely turning into a Kang, or are we gonna be able the question is are we is Kang in the budget? I guess is kind of what I'm saying. Are we gonna be able to?
Honestly, my best prediction for that would probably be like what you said, where Timely somehow or another makes a Kane transformation. That'd be my prediction.
I do think Miss Minutes is coming back. I think we're going to have the redeemed rebooted Miss Minutes.
We got to have Miss Minutes back.
But I think she'll be back on the side of Angels, though. I think it's going to be like the less scary Miss Minutes. It'll just be okay, well, because she didn't get rebooted, so presumably that means good guy Miss Minutes. Or good clock Miss Minutes, or what have you.
Well, I honestly don't know if she's going to be on the side of Angels. Like she could still maintain like some of her original programming.
Mhm.
All right.
I did love Miss Minute's origin, though. That was genuinely some great stuff. One of the best things in the whole season, I thought.
I do think Renslayer is going to come back either at the very end or in a post-credit scene, and that might be a Kang tie-in. Like, think about that. What if it's like, here's a Kang prediction. Here's a simple way of working on that.
She like teams up with a more powerful version of someone who could become He Who Remains.
I was going to get at, Jacob, was we saw her prune, so presumably like we're about to be eaten by a Goliath, and like Kang says, hey, stop, and he helps her up, and it's like, hey, you want to do stuff together in the big Avengers movie? Yeah.
And they use those words exactly.
No, come on, but you know what I'm
dialogue.
I'm
kidding.
But
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, it'd probably be the easiest thing to do versus like all the army.
You know what? Probably could be something like, you want to make you want to be the start of a new dynasty.
Yeah, exactly.
Do
exactly.
I?
Yeah.
Where do I put my bags? Do I?
Oh my god.
It's like, just don't go anywhere near a riverboat.
Oh god. All right. Well, I think that's about it, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I would like to thank ourselves because once again, no comments on this Disney Plus stuff.
Hey, Jake, you don't have the button here, do you?
Which button?
You know what button I'm talking about. You know, the new button from Phineas and Ferb.
No, not on this one. I'd have to switch brands. It would get rid of the overlay.
Okay, never mind that. Never mind.
But I can. I'll make it. Yay!
Oh my god. Okay.
Is that better, Dragon?
Yeah. Well, I'm the one thing inside, but we'll make do. It's fine.
All right.
I'll don't worry. I'll upload it soon.
All right.
Okay, well, that'll do it for us tonight as we holster our remotes till the next installment calls for the draw. Mono y mono. Just Plus and us.
I sell jet skis, man.
Not the little motorboats. No.
No.